Hello!
Hello!
I know you were expecting to see the entrance door here, but we didn't finish it yet.
Well, this episode was supposed to be the last episode about the door, but as we couldn't do it, I guess we're gonna change the episode and we're gonna talk about the reason why we couldn't build this door on time. So, that's the reason why. I don't know if it's clear where we are right now, but
We are on the top of our roof.
yeah, we are on the roof. So basically the problem was the roof. Supposedly, a shipping container is made in a way that the water always goes to the side and leave the container, because steel and water results in corrosion, of course. And every time you get water is stuck on the top of the container, it starts corroding. With time, it will start corroding, like here, in many places if you look around.
So we are trying to fix that for more than a week.
Yeah, maybe 2-3 weeks already. The thing is, we don't want to, right now the container is open, so when rains inside, dries out. We don't want to close the container with doors and windows before we are sure that there is no water coming inside when rains. And right now, there's a few spots, there are a few, too many spots that when rains, water goes inside. We have a few holes on the roof. Thought we had two small holes, and once we started like breaking the corrosion around just to check how big was the hole, we found out that we have, I don't know, maybe 12, maybe 15 holes.
We can count.
We can count, but it's a lot of holes. We are trying to clean the whole roof to fix all the rust, but it's all good. We're just trying to take all the rust off so we can make patches around. Let's keep going. Well, the damage is pretty big. Take a look. So once you start opening, any little thing like this becomes this.
Like what?
Like this, if we touch too much here, it becomes like this, or in the best case scenario, becomes like a little hole. But that means that this whole area, it's weak, this is weak, this is weak, this is weak, this is weak. So instead of fixing and putting like so many patches around, we decide, I don't know if it's the best idea, but we decide to take this whole plate off, all the way from here to here, and from here to there, and again, we're gonna cut this whole thing off. So, I don't know if you can see that. It's the whole end plate, this whole area. So we're gonna cut that off and substitute with the plates from the side of the containers that we cut for the windows. It's not the same shape, but as we're gonna have a deck on the top of this roof, so
And something inside?
yeah, it won't make a huge difference. So sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. .105 by 236.
Okay.
Let's see if we find a plate like that. At first we thought about using the walls of the container. We actually cut the plates the size we need, and we transport the plates to the top of the container and locate it on place.
So?
So we need another one of those, and then we can mark, cut and weld. Yeah, it's gonna be really tricky, but we can do it.
So? Good?
Yep, it's gonna be good. So basically, that's gonna be the new end of the container. Somehow. But we found out that actually the plate of the roof is a little bit thicker, and the shape of course is a lot different. After doing one small patch that took us 1 day to adapt all the little corners and bend and everything, we realized that it was going to take forever to adapt all these corners from this huge plate. So we decided to call up the company that sold the container to us and check if they had a roof plate so we could buy, or we could, I don't know, get for free if they could give us a plate. Anything. And I remembered that when we bought the container, the guy said that there was a small leak on the end of the container that they would fix before sending the container to us. So basically, they're gonna give us a new plate to weld on the top of the container, and they're gonna send a guy to help me do it, because it's just a huge job and it's like really, really heavy to change an entire plate.
And we still have to finish this.
Yeah, the other thing is we wanted to paint the whole roof of the container, so we are using the angle grinder and taking every single rust spot, any little tiny spot, so we are grinding off, and then we are giving a coat of primer, epoxy primer, really strong epoxy primer, actually 2 coats. That's the white color right there. And once we are done with this, we are going to paint actually with the gray color. That's going to be the color of the container.
But we have another problem.
This container is 15 years old, and in 15 years, for sure, a few containers hit on the top and smash and whatever. So there are 3 main spots where the water won't dry, because it's just like there is like a valley, like somehow the plate is not straight, it's down. So we need to fix that, and in order to fix that, we went through a few ideas. So let's start with idea number 1.
Well, the idea number 1 was to...
She doesn't remember. We did so much stuff that she didn't remember yet.
Yeah.
Well, we are actually trying something that we don't know if it's gonna work. We have some spots on the roof that are just like bent down, and the water stays there and never leaves. So we need to push or pull. Yeah, we need to put the ceiling back on place, the roof back on place. So we're going to get the car jack, put underneath of this piece of wood, and try to lift. Let's see if it works.
People say that works.
Yeah, let's try. Well, I really try to go old school, but this saw is terrible. So, let's go back to the future. Well, I guess we could say that it's much quicker and louder. Too much noise. Let's go inside and see if it works. Come on. So, let's see.
It didn't work. Actually, it started to go up, but there were too many noises and we were worried about that.
Yeah, to be honest, we didn't even know if it was going up the ceiling or not, the roof. We just started hearing a lot of noise. Seems like the shipping container was gonna break in half, so we decided to stop. We called the guy that sold the container to us, and he said try to use a hydraulic jack, and the hydraulic jack is much stronger, so we bought a hydraulic jack, and that's what happened. We decided to give an extra chance.
But with a new toy.
Yeah, that's the new jack, because the other jack was too weak. So we are gonna try again to expand the ceiling with
We
the jack.
heard that the noise is not the problem, the noise of the ceiling.
Yeah, we were afraid the noise we were making was just like ripping the weld apart. I talked to someone that understands about that, and he said it's okay. So we're gonna give it a second try. Let's see if it works. So this time, can you hold this? This time, I'm gonna take this to the top, so I can make sure it's actually expanding. I'm gonna put a horizontal line and make sure it's expanding. So, let's go. Now, let's give it a try.
Can I go there? Actually, it works, but the container didn't stay. As soon as we put the jack down, the container went down again. So
We need to find a solution. We went to YouTube and searched for other people with the same problem. All this water is on the top of the ceiling because of it's like a valley. So now we're expanding the center and the water is going out. That's pretty good actually. And we saw a guy that he welded bars underneath the roof and then he jacked up the roof and put something in between so the roof won't come back. And that was the main plan, right?
yeah, for more than a week, we thought this was the perfect plan. So
We decided to start cutting bars and painting bars, and then finally it was time to weld the bar on place. And we started with the hardest one, the one that with the water was stuck really hard in between both containers.
yeah,
That's
behind here.
right there.
Bad news, the solution of welding the bars didn't work.
I mean, it works in part. In this shipping container works because of the direction of where the container is. But as we have two shipping containers in two different directions
In the connection.
in the connection, whenever the water gets stuck there, comes to the connection and gets stuck in between both containers.
I don't know if you can see, but it's still there.
So that's a problem that we couldn't solve. The water stays there. We expand the ceiling more and more, and the water won't go out.
Yeah.
So instead of finding a solution for this problem, we're gonna create a way of not having water at all on the top of the container, so we don't need to fix the problem. So that means we need to cover the container.
Yeah, but we don't want to have a roof. We want to have a deck on the top, so we need to have something in between the shipping container and the deck for the water goes out.
Yeah, the idea now, the new plan, at least for now, is to build a deck on the top of the container, and in between the deck and the container we want to have a roof, just a hidden roof, so the water that penetrates the deck gets to this roof and goes to the side, and then we can take the water off.
And don't touch the shipping container.
Yeah, without touching, so that means that water will never touch the shipping container anymore. So probably that's gonna be the solution. For now we are only gonna fix the rust problem and the hose problem, and we're gonna go back to the door. So I guess that's the roof is just something that we're gonna talk about on a future episode.
Yep.
For now we can, go back to work, and next week we'll come back with hopefully a door. See you guys
Next week.
That's how you fix a hole on a container.
Yeah.
You get duct tape.
Yeah.
See, that's
For a day. Just for one day.
that's the best way you can fix a hole in a container.
For a while.
No, forever.
Yeah.
Now, done. Watertight now.